This is Friday Night Fever Afterburn, sponsored by Arena Comics and Gaming.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Friday Night Fever Afterburn for week 6.
Week 6. District games started tonight.
District games, a lot of rain delays, just a heads up.
Yeah, we don't have all the final scores yet, correct? Because South Walton and Walton are still playing. It was pouring over there, right?
Yeah.
You were at that game.
It was, so we made it to just about the half, I think. I left just before the half. And then I got a text from one of the photogs over there saying we've been stuck in a rain delay ever since. They got the third quarter going probably right about 10:15 maybe.
Yeah, I they're gonna play. I feel like until around. They might be wrapping up around now, but we'll let you know as soon as we have a score because we got some people over there, you know. But, yeah, I was at Mosley and they played their first district game tonight against Milton, and we were under a rain delay as well, so we started about 30 minutes later. But
So it was Freeport.
Freeport was pouring.
Yeah.
Absolutely pouring. And you can see in the videos, we'll go through the highlights in a little bit. It was crazy. So I'm sure just even if we weren't at the rest of the games, it was a little interesting of a Friday Night Lights, you could say, just because of the weather. But we can get right into the scores.
Yeah.
So,
but also, if you're just now joining us, let us know what game you went to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want us to comment on it or have some comments for us, please let us know.
Sweet.
But we can start off with those scores. Yeah, we kind of
So Walton, South Walton, like we said, I believe they're in the fourth quarter. They're about to wrap it up, but it was 13-0. South Walton is actually up 13-0, so it should be flip-flopped, but that's okay. South Walton, it was 13-0 before the half, so I think third was scoreless and fourth so far is scoreless. And then over Mosley Milton, that was your game, 27-14.
Yep.
Pensacola Catholic over in Freeport. Freeport, is that their first loss this year? First loss this year, 58-17, bit of a heartbreaker. And then this was last night, Bay Pensacola 47-28 for Thursday Night Lights.
Yeah, that Bay they've only had one loss this season, so yeah. And
against Madison County in overtime, so great game.
No, yeah, so they were coming off that for redemption, you know. Graceville got some points up tonight. It was 6-48 in Franklin County, and then we had a very tight game. It was that the final score for Sneads and Liberty County? We need to make sure. The final score for Sneads and Liberty County was Liberty County 21, and then Sneads actually got one more touchdown, but I think that was a little bit later in the game, so we didn't have that final score ready as we had to produce this. So then we have Bozeman and Port St. Joe, and Bozeman won tonight 33-20, and Holmes County defeating Chipley.
Who was undefeated.
Yep, Freeport and Chipley, done. Record broken.
Wow.
Took
District games.
Yeah. Districts will do that to you. So good job, Blue Devils, for taking that win. And yeah, it's a tough night to be a Tiger. You want to go for this one?
Yeah, and then the Eagles in Bluntstown. Bluntstown, they're still the ones that are undefeated now.
Yep, Bluntstown is the only one still undefeated.
38-7. Rutherford going over to Mariana, 32-15. Pretty good game. And then
Rutherford got their first win tonight.
Oh, first win.
Yeah.
Amazing. Go Rams.
Go Rams. That was awesome.
Rams. On the road, so that's pretty good for them. Okay, so 0-2.
We have a question about this. Does anybody know, because this is what Max Preps told us, and
it's hard to believe that they won off of a safety.
So if you guys know what this Vernon score was, let us know. Maybe do some journalism, you could do it for us.
Investigative journalism.
Yep. And
then Weowahitchka and Cottondale. Cottondale's going to take that one 24-16.
Yep. And do we have another page of scores? Awesome. We just have one more, and that's Choctawhatchee and Arnold. Arnold taking a tough loss at home tonight to Choctaw, 42-7. And we can get right into some highlights. I think our first game is going to be the Bay game from last night. That one was a Thursday Night Lights game, and I was at that game. So this is crazy. Look at how they trampled the Bay offense for that one, getting the ball back. But the Bay Tornadoes, the defense was awesome. Unfortunately, I think this is where Pensacola got their first score of the game. Yeah, that was a tough one to recover from. But I do believe in this next one, Xavion Morgan coming off of that, and JT Bowden, I think there was a moment where in the quarter later on, he was having some trouble. One of the defenders on Pensacola was trying to get a hold of JT Bowden, but since he was so tall, it was really tough for them to wrap the arms around him. And I know it got some scruffles with some of the refs because he was Pensacola kid was trying to explain, oh, JT's just too tall, but that's the name of the game, So that's just, he's unstoppable. And he had a couple touchdowns last night as well. And same with TJ Davis. He's going to take it. I believe he gets taken down right before. Oh, no, that was a different play. Yeah, takes it all the way.
He seems fast.
TJ Davis is a double-sided bullet. He can seriously go anywhere. And then we also have Amari Johnson, who's just so fun to watch. He seriously is just so entertaining. But Xavion Morgan controls that offense so well. And obviously, this is MJ Wilkerson just busting through that defense. But one thing about Xavion and John DeVos, they're very good at interchanging. And there was actually a play during this game where it was almost a trick play where they had both the quarterbacks in. And it was a first down. I think it was probably a 20-yard run by just some handoff. And then all of a sudden, your eyes are going everywhere, and then John DeVos is running down the sideline. You're like, wait, is he in quarterback? You don't even know. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, that was last night's game, and Bay took that win over Pensacola, 47-28.
How much do you pay for investigative journalism? That was funny. So someone said Vernon's coach was at the Bluntstown game, so it might have been a forfeit.
And I just looked down to David, excuse me, I don't think I'm saying your last name correctly, Kozalski. Vernon had too many kids sick, so they forfeited that game.
Hard way to take a loss.
Yes, yeah. Unfortunately, it's tough when you only have an 18-man roster to start with, and you have injury. You're on week 6. I mean, some of them could be injuries, some of them could be exhausted.
Yeah.
These kids are playing both sides of the ball to start off.
3 ways, special teams as well.
Absolutely, 3 ways. So it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't really surprise me, but it's pretty unfortunate for the Yellow Jackets. But do you want to get into your highlights? So South Walton and Walton.
Great game. I mean, that first quarter, I will say, was just a dogfight back and forth. Honestly, South Walton's defense was insane in this first quarter. It was forcing turnover after turnover. Not on this one. Great pass.
That's Sincere Williams?
Yes, that is Sincere Williams. And I know you've talked about him before.
He's so good. He's one of my favorite players this season.
Yes, Witten West, Sincere Williams. It seems like they've got it clicked. They've got it down. They find each other really well. But I can say the same thing for JD Brown, yes.
Yeah.
And Max Baker, who with a long catch, that kid is fast. He was dusting his defenders left and right.
I love it.
And one thing I will say, JD Brown, when you get that kid going, he is finding Carter Hawk, he is finding Max Baker, he is finding Grant Gilmore. The 3 of those wide receivers, I will say, those kids have got hands. They know how to clear air in front of them.
Seems like they know how JD thinks too. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think JD, he sees the field really, really well, and it is easy when you have 3 receivers that are making such great space as well. So when you get the 3 of them and JD Brown going, I mean, it's pretty hard to keep up with them, I would say. They did have a blocked kick. That's why it's 13-0 and not 14-0. And several fumbles. I left just before the half, and I think it was 2 or 3 fumbles in a row. South Walton had an onside kick that they were able to recover, and then the very next play, Walton strips it out after absolutely crushing one of those guys, and it just goes flying out. Walton takes that, and then they hold off Walton at the 1-yard line. It was
for how long?
All 4. It was a turnover.
Oh, wow.
It was a turnover, and then of course, unfortunately, it was 8 p.m. I had to leave. I had to get back here in time, and I was really sad to have to
You're like,
go
what
at
happens
that.
next?
Yes, and they were trying. I don't know, the tush push, something like that, but they could not run that ball into that end zone. I'm telling you, that South Walton defense was just insane. They were holding them down left and right, and then gave their offense some leeway to be creative.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I want to address John Brock's comment right there with the Virginia Cavaliers and Florida State Seminoles tonight. We have actually 2 local players that played in that game, and it's Sage Ennis, who plays for Virginia, and he's a tight end for Virginia. I'm not sure what he did tonight because I didn't watch that game, but I do know that Mosley graduate Randy Pittman Jr. had his first career touchdown tonight.
Wow.
So it's pretty exciting for the Seminoles, and obviously for just both Virginia and the Seminoles. So we have to check on that score, but we've been busy with this, so we don't know the update of that. So you could let us know. But
one thing about working Friday nights, you do miss some games here and there,
especially Arizona State versus Texas Christian.
Our alma maters, for everyone watching, I went to Texas Christian University, who is playing the ASU.
Yes.
And I think they're in the fourth quarter. But
we can't focus on that right now. We can move on to the Mosley game.
And Mosley, that was right over here, Tommy Oliver.
Yep, that was Tommy Oliver. It was homecoming.
Looked
Everybody.
packed.
Oh, it absolutely was. And it was cool because Mosley does this thing, which we never did at my high school, where they acknowledge some of the kids in each club. And I think we're getting those highlights pulled up. But take a look at this. So we have the tennis kids. Okay, it's too short. But they're all getting acknowledged, and it's super cool that they do that. So right away, we have Hinson Holden with the kick receive, and this actually got them moving quickly down the field. And then we have Sammy Chisholm. He's so strong in the backfield. He just gets it going. And then right here, this is where JP Holzenbeck finds Adam Land, and Adam Land keeps going. He's taken down right, like you said, at the 1, and it was tough, but Chisholm finally pushed through the defense, getting those first points on the board. And it was honestly quite tough at the beginning. But one thing I want to say is the Mosley defense tonight was incredible. I already know that their defense is so dominant with led by Wyatt Fleming. He has had like 50 tackles just in the last 3 games or so, but that made such a difference in tonight's game because Mosley handed Milton their first loss tonight. So let's remember that. They are a dominant 5A team, and Mosley, they beat them, like that. And I really think a lot of that had to do with just how strong they were, not letting their quarterback out of the pocket. It was amazing.
Sitting comfortable in there. I think we did talk to the coach. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah.
But it was their loss against Bay that I think really put them in this mindset, because Bay has an amazing offense. You really have to then focus on your defense when you're coming in to do film, to do practice like the next week, and try to come off of that. And I think you can see that probably in this game. Obviously I wasn't there, but you can see the defense kind of like stepping up, doing their thing, and you can tell that they're making leaps and bounds ahead. That's really helping them out.
You're right, because I really think that this Bay loss lit something under these Mosley Dolphins I don't think they knew existed. And not only is that never going to happen again, they are ready to compete for the rest of the season. And unfortunately, every team they play from now on has to deal with angry Mosley. Yeah. And it's exciting for the Dolphins, to be honest.
That is exciting.
It was
and
a
you can
great
also
game.
say the same thing for Bay. After that Madison County game, they come into this next game against Pensacola with a fireland under them as well. And
absolutely,
that's what I think. That's just high school football. Someone
coming
hands
off
you a loss, you're
mhm.
gonna come in angry that next game.
Absolutely, that's what it was tonight. So, and then we also have, what is our next one? I think we have Freeport. Yes. Yeah, Freeport. That was a pouring game. Oh my goodness, look at those raindrops. It was Carter Nunes to Dylan Louthan and getting some yards. And unfortunately, tonight was a tough game for those Bulldogs. You just see Pensacola Catholic pretty much just running straight through the defense. And that becomes an ongoing pattern. But thankfully, they have Julius Miles, the Louisville commit. He is kind of the one keeping this team in this game tonight, but it just wasn't enough as the Crusaders just completely ran over the Freeport defense. Like, I can't lie. It was a tough night. I think the rain got to them. They end up going for a kick just because they had very limited options. Mm-hmm. And so I think, like I said, finding the hands of Miles, that's really kind of the only thing Freeport had tonight, because I just don't think
Work with what you got.
right. I don't know what it was, but these other receivers weren't getting open, whether it was the miscommunication between Nunes and the wide targets, but it was a tough night in Freeport. And so Chipley and Freeport, like I said, took their first losses tonight. So, it was tough.
Yeah, I mean, I know Pensacola isn't in our DMA. I'm not sure if you've seen them in the past, but
Yeah.
obviously I wasn't at this game, but they look like they run pretty clean.
They're a serious team.
They look like just a machine.
I think those teams out in Pensacola, just in general, are pretty tough. And
Yeah.
obviously last night we saw with Bay. There was times where they were definitely pushing Bay's boundaries. And I just really think, it's outside the DMA. We're in districts now. It's serious. And
Yeah.
that's just, it's only going to get tougher.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, I know John Brock here says Pensacola Catholic is a powerhouse.
No,
so I
absolutely.
would love to see more of them, hopefully in the future, just to see
But
what
not,
they're about.
yeah, but of course we don't want them to win.
Maybe not like that, yeah.
Yeah,
But
we want to see them, but we want to see who can compete with them.
yes.
Maybe the
yeah.
Bluntstowns.
Yeah, Bluntstown, our
But
last
they're not gonna play,
undefeated team now.
Bluntstown's the last undefeated team. Yep.
Wow. We're going to have to catch them again.
I was talking to Amari Thomas earlier this week, and he was saying that he was really excited to play a team that would give them some significant competition, and that he thought that was in WS Neal, but the final score tonight, I believe, was, I think they completely. Do we know what the final score was? You can just tell me. Bluntstown. It was like 38-6. I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if that. I'm not really sure if.
Bluntstown 38-7.
38-7. So I'm not sure if he got as much of competition as he wants, but we were both talking about how important it was, because these teams, Mosley saw it last year. They play teams that are not able to compete with them, whether it's numbers, size, or just athletic ability, until it comes to districts,
Yeah.
and then regionals, and then obviously state. So if these different teams have spread out competition throughout their season, these Bluntstowns are going to be able to compete with teams, and maybe they're not as good. I'm not saying they're not as good because they beat everybody and they're an absolute powerhouse, but that's how you test teams like
Yeah.
that, is
It's
playing
hard to measure when you
Right.
can't really see it.
absolutely. So
But yeah, I remember when Coach Bill Thomas was here last week, he said it was a good thing with Bay and Madison County. It's a good thing that it happened in week 5.
yeah,
Bluntstown hasn't had that competition, and they're about to go into week 7 now. And what are we, 4 weeks now from playoffs? And
about yeah.
so
They'll play a
it would
Sneed.
be.
Speaking of, Bill Thomas will be taking on Bluntstown next week.
Oh wow. Okay.
Bill Thomas in Sneeds. So
Wow.
just saying.
Good luck to Coach Bill Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
But yeah, like I'm saying, going so late into the season before really being tested, I think is going to be hard, because if they are truly tested in like week 8, week 9, that's going to be a really hard wake up
To
call
recover
right
from.
before playoffs.
I think so
So.
too. And it just
But who knows? Bluntstown, they are a powerhouse. They're a machine. Maybe they're just going to roll through it like nobody's business.
I think
So
at
who
this
can
point, Coach Wagner has them just rolling with the punches. They can take anything that comes to them.
tell. Yeah.
But then again, you have to test it to know.
Yeah.
So,
So I'd love to see that be tested soon.
yeah. Do we have any more games to go through the highlights of? Or all right, we can get into next week's matchups.
Yep. Week
Okay.
7.
Well, I'm gonna Sorry, we have different people in tonight, but I will tell you some of the week 7 matchups. We have Mariana at North Bay Haven. That's going to be a Thursday night game at Tommy Oliver. And then we have Franklin County at Cottondale, Port St. Joe at Rutherford. And then Walton will visit Arnold. Sneeds, like I just said, they will be in Bluntstown. And so Bluntstown will have some back-to-back home games.
Yeah.
And then Graceville and Vernon. So
See who's gonna get their first win.
let's see that. Yes, that's going to be pretty exciting. So, and then we have
Choctaw, South Walton. Choctaw. I said this wrong last week, and I don't think I'm ever gonna say it correctly. Choctawhatchee.
Choctawhatchee.
Choctawhatchee. My apologies for those of that area. Wait, say it again. Choctawhatchee.
Choctawhatchee, yeah.
Choctawhatchee is South Walton. Choctawhatchee undefeated. So South Walton's gonna have a pretty good matchup next week, and then Wewa going over to Liberty County.
Yeah, Wewa Hitchka over in Liberty County, and then we have
I believe that's it. I have that all on max prep.
No, yeah. I think that will be it. But I think, yeah. So it's going to be the second round of district games, I believe, for most teams, actually, because I'm not sure if all of these are district games, but for the most part, yeah. And it's pretty exciting. So tune in with us next week. Do you have any final words?
We'll see if the Tigers stay undefeated. Also, go Frogs. Let's
Forks
check
up.
on that score.
Forks up.
They were
please.
still in that fourth quarter, and it looks like they're still in that fourth quarter. 24-17, Frogs are up. Just a heads up if anyone was wondering. Not that you are, probably not, but nonetheless.
All right. I actually just see we have our final scores for the rest of the games, which I think
We can go through those
we'll go
again.
through those really
Yeah.
quick. Sorry, we did this, and then we can put all those. Yeah, Liberty County. It was 21-20 over Sneeds, and so that was Liberty County. I do see. Yeah, so it was Liberty County, and then our next game we have.
Bozeman over at Port St. Joe. Bozeman on the road taking that 33-20. That
Yep.
seems like a pretty good game. One of the closer games we've seen.
No, for sure. I know that they were wanting a win, Bozeman, for sure. And then Graceville, Franklin, 48-6. Seahawks win that one.
Pretty dominant game. Chipley taking that first loss. Blue Devils handing it to them 16-0.
I know that was a pretty exciting night to be in Bonifay.
Yeah. Should have probably made it over. That's okay. We'll make it next time.
And then Bluntstown, we just said it, 38-7 over WS Neal, which was supposed to be a tighter game. We just said that, but Bluntstown's just too good.
Too good. Last of the undefeated in our area.
Yep.
Rutherford going over to Mariana. And you said this was Rutherford's first win of the season.
Yeah.
32-15. Decently high scoring. So they made it to the end zone
Yeah,
several
that's
times.
about, what, 6 touchdowns? Good
Yeah.
job.
Quick math. Yeah.
All right, my math goes, that's the extent of it. But and then we have Cottondale and Weewa Hitchka. That's actually a pretty close game. I did expect Cottondale to run away a little bit more with that, but 24-16. Yeah, Hornets.
Choctaw, I'm just going to go ahead and shorten that one, over at Arnold. Pretty dominant win, 40-7.
All right, and we have another game. That's about it.
Yeah.
So yes, we are looking to have another guest next week. I just saw the comment from John Barak. Yes, I know those have been fun. We had a guest. It kind of fell through tonight, but we definitely will have more to come. I promise you guys.
Because we love it as well.
We love it as well because we're journalists. We love talking. We love asking questions. So absolutely. But
thanks y'all so much for joining us, and we'll be right here again next week.
next week, forks up. See y'all later.
Go Frogs!